Every single step you take, every breath, and even your passing thoughts are being watched 24/7. No privacy, period. A place where the truth is whatever the government says it is, and history is erased and rewritten daily. George Orwell's masterpiece, 1984, drops us right into this terrifying, suffocating reality. So let's dive right into this explainer and explore the cold, gritty, and fear-driven world of Winston Smith. The clocks were striking 13. That right there gives us this uneasy, immediate signal that absolutely nothing in this world is normal. Our main character, Winston Smith, is walking with his chin tucked into his chest, just trying to escape this biting, vile wind. And as he pushes through the glass doors of Victory Mansions, a massive swirl of gritty dust follows him right in. The hallway reeks of boiled cabbage and old rag mats. Trust me, this isn't a fancy apartment building. It's a place where basic human comfort is just a fantasy. And at every single turn in this stinking hallway, you're greeted by a massive poster. We're talking a face over a meter wide with a heavy black mustache and these intense, rugged features. The psychological impact of this thing is literally spine-chilling. It's designed so that the eyes physically seem to follow you wherever you go. Big Brother is watching you. It's not just a catchy slogan, it is the suffocating paranoia of Oceania, constantly reminding every citizen that they are never, ever alone. Now the really scary part? You don't even have privacy inside your own home. Enter at the telescreen. This isn't your average smart TV. It's this oblong, frosted glass-like metal plaque that constantly blasts government propaganda. Sure, Winston can turn the volume down a bit, but there is absolutely no way to turn it off. Zero. This machine receives and transmits simultaneously. You basically have to live with the instinctual assumption, which just becomes second nature over time, that every whisper is heard and every single movement is monitored by the thought police. I want you to picture this stark visual contrast. On one side, you have Winston's rotting, broken-down London. 19th century houses with walls practically sagging, windows patched up with cardboard, and dust swirling through bombed-out ruins. And then, towering over all this grime, just a kilometer away, is the Ministry of Truth, a glittering, soaring, 300-meter white concrete pyramid. This government architecture isn't just a building. It's an imposing, majestic display of terror that's meant to make citizens feel as small and helpless as insects. The entire apparatus of government is split into 4 massive ministries that dominate the London skyline. You've got the Ministry of Truth for news and propaganda, the Ministry of Peace for war, and the Ministry of Plenty for the economy. But the absolute worst of them all, the Ministry of Love. Don't let the name fool you. This place doesn't have a single window. It is a frightening fortress surrounded by a maze of barbed wire, steel doors, and hidden machine guns. The streets around it are patrolled by gorilla-faced men in black uniforms carrying truncheons. Winston actively avoids going anywhere near it. And carved into the white face of the Ministry of Truth are the 3 slogans of the party. Look at these. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. At first glance, these are completely absurd, right? How can 2 opposing things be true at once? But that is the ultimate trick of this world. This paradox is hammered so deeply into people's minds that they just accept it as undeniable truth without a second thought. All right, let's bring the narrative back to Winston's tiny, cramped apartment. To take the edge off, he pours himself a cup of Victory Gen. Let me tell you, this stuff smells awful, like oily nitric acid. When he drinks it, it burns his throat like he's just been smacked in the back of the head with a rubber club. After downing it, he sneaks into this shallow little alcove in the corner of his room, sitting just out of the telescreen's line of sight. And this is where his secret, incredibly dangerous act of rebellion begins. Sitting in that alcove, Winston pulls out something beautiful from his drawer, a diary. It has this smooth, creamy paper that hasn't been manufactured for at least 40 years. He bought it on the free market from a junk shop, which is a huge deal because buying anything outside official channels is strictly forbidden. But here's the kicker. Simply possessing this blank book, just deciding to open it, is a decisive, fatal act. It's a crime punishable by death, or at best, 25 years in a forced labor camp. As Winston dips an archaic pen into the ink, sheer panic sets in. Making that first physical mark on the paper is a point of no return. With trembling hands, he writes, April 4th, 1984. And then a sense of total helplessness washes over him. He realizes with absolute dread that he doesn't even know for sure if it is actually the year 1984. The very concept of time and history has been completely wiped out. Just as he tries to write, strident military music starts blaring from the telescreen. Winston is completely paralyzed. Who is he writing this for? The future? Unborn generations? That's when the concept of doublethink hits him. It's this massive mental contradiction. How do you communicate with the future? Either the future will be exactly like the present and they won't listen, or the future will be different and his suffering will mean absolutely nothing to them. Unsure of what to write, his mind flashes back to something that happened earlier that morning. It was around 11 at the records department, right before the 2 minutes hate was about to start. Two people walked in. One was this dark-haired girl who Winston intensely dislikes and fears. He strongly suspects she's an agent of the thought police. The other was O'Brien, a powerful member of the inner party. There's this quiet intrigue and intellectual calmness about O'Brien that Winston is strangely drawn to. Now let me walk you through the chilling psychological manipulation of the 2 minutes hate. At 0 seconds, this hideous, grinding noise starts, and Emmanuel Goldstein's face appears on the screen. Fast forward just 30 seconds, and the crowd is already erupting into uncontrollable rage. By 60 seconds, it's absolute frenzy. People are literally shouting and throwing objects at the screen. It's an electric current of fear that turns ordinary people into screaming, grimacing lunatics totally against their own will. So, who is the target of all this rage? This guy right here, Emmanuel Goldstein. He has this almost sheep-like face, and he's basically the ultimate enemy of the people. But it's a strange paradox, you know? Every single day, his theories are smashed and ridiculed on screen, yet his influence never fades. He remains the supposed commander of a vast, shadowy underground resistance army known as the Brotherhood. As the hate reaches its climax, the subhuman, savage chanting begins. B, 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 B. This sound literally chills Winston's entrails. It's not an expression of loyalty. It's a terrifying act of deliberate self-hypnosis. The crowd uses this rhythmical chant to completely drown out their own individual consciousness. Winston joins in because not joining in is practically a death sentence. But right in the middle of all that locked loneliness and hypnotic shouting, something incredible happens. Winston makes fleeting eye contact with O'Brien. O'Brien is just adjusting his spectacles, but in that split second, an unmistakable message is passed between them. It's as if O'Brien is silently saying, "I know exactly how you feel. I am on your side." It's a desperate, silent hope that maybe, just maybe, the underground brotherhood and the resistance actually exist. Snap. Winston is jolted back to the present moment. He looks down at his diary and is absolutely horrified. While he was musing about O'Brien and the hate, his pen had been moving. He had been unconsciously writing in large, neat capitals, filling half the page with treasonous words. Down with Big Brother. Down with Big Brother. It is a terrifying realization. He has crossed the ultimate line. Winston's first instinct is to rip the page out in panic, but he stops. Why? Because the physical writing changes nothing. He has already committed the ultimate offense, thought crime. In Oceania, holding an unspoken rebellious thought against the party is the essential crime that contains all others in itself. The mere invisible thought of rebellion has already condemned him. And let me tell you about the horrifying reality of being caught by the thought police. There are no trials. They always come at night. A sudden rough hand waking you up, blinding lights in your eyes, and then your existence is wiped from all registers. Every record of you is destroyed. Vaporized was the usual word. You are abolished, annihilated without a trace, as if you had never even been born. In a sudden fit of frenzy, Winston scribbles down that he doesn't care if they shoot him in the back of the neck. And then, a sudden, violent knocking at his door makes him freeze. Has the thought police already arrived? So, what does this all mean? If simply thinking a rebellious thought guarantees your absolute vaporization, what do you have left to lose? I'll leave you to ponder the ultimate cost of living in Airstrip 1, as Winston waits to see exactly who is on the other side of that door.